My brother stalked my girlfriend, but my family defended him. We were threatened, so we left, started over, and cut off all contact. As soon as my girlfriend Anna, 25, walked in, Peter began acting aggressively, making her incredibly uncomfortable. With absolutely out-of-character conduct, he virtually pushed our mother aside just to be the first to hug Anna, and he held her so tightly that she had to physically pull away. Throughout dinner, he kept finding excuses to touch her hand or shoulder, making odd inside jokes despite the fact that they'd only recently met, and actually pushing past me many times to sit next to her, until he crossed the line by trying to feed her with his fork while staring attentively. Anna was obviously uneasy, but she stayed courteous because it was our first family gathering, and she wanted to make a good impression. Peter spent the entire evening reciting embarrassing anecdotes about my youth, twisting them to make me look like a miserable fool. He even told a completely false story about how he had to save my high school girlfriend from my claimed emotional abuse, which never occurred. Anna knew these stories weren't genuine since I'd already told her about my adolescence, but my parents just nodded along as if Peter was spouting biblical truth. After dinner, things worsened. Anna offered to help clean up, hoping to be helpful. I was helping my father move some boxes in the garage when I remembered I hadn't seen Anna in a while. I found her in the kitchen, with Peter actually blocking her departure. He had trapped her at the sink and told her she deserved someone more exciting than his boring, unstable older brother. He was standing far too close, one hand on the counter next to her hip. Anna ordered him to back off twice before I came inside. When she spotted me, she was relieved and came to stand next to me. Peter just laughed dismissively, as if everything was one big joke. But Anna was visibly shivering. My fiancée Anna and I had been dating for 8 months, and everything was going great until Peter started to wreck our lives with his compulsive behavior. I suppose I should explain our family dynamic so that this makes sense. Peter and I were raised in a tiny Minnesota town by upper-middle-class parents. Our parents both work in real estate and make good money, but they've always prioritized appearances over genuine family relationships. Peter was born when I was 3 years old, and he has always been the focal point of our parents' lives. He could do no wrong, but everything was always my fault. Growing up, Peter exhibited some pretty alarming conduct, which my parents completely disregarded. When he was 6, he purposefully smashed my game console because I refused to let him play whenever he wanted. Instead of penalizing him, my parents got him his own and told me I needed to learn to share more effectively. At 12, he murdered my pet hamster by giving it chocolate, knowing it was deadly, but my parents stated it was a mistake and that I shouldn't have a pet if I couldn't properly care for it. In high school, he created allegations that I cheated on my then-girlfriend, resulting in our split. My parents claimed he was merely protecting her. That tendency persisted into maturity. Peter still lives at home with our parents, works at my father's real estate firm, and generally does whatever he wants. He has ruined every relationship I have tried to form. With my previous girlfriend, he convinced her family that I had a gambling problem, which was absolutely false. Before that, he told another woman that I had cheated on all of my ex-partners, which was also false. My parents would either justify his acts or accuse me of being overly dramatic. When I met Anna, I resolved to do things differently. I kept our relationship absolutely quiet from my family for the first 3 months to protect her from Peter's regular techniques. Anna is truly the best thing that has happened to me. She is an intelligent and caring pediatric nurse at our local hospital. We met in the hospital cafe while I was visiting a coworker who had recently undergone surgery. She was on her lunch break, and we started talking about how bad the hospital coffee was. After a few more coffee discussions, we began dating, and everything seemed great. Anna knows everything about my family history because I wanted her to be prepared. In fact, she was the one who pushed me to try to introduce her, claiming that things might be different now that we were all adults. One of my favorite things about her is that she constantly looks for the best in people. I eventually agreed to introduce Anna to my family at a dinner party last month, and then everything started to fall apart. The main difficulty began several days after the dinner. Anna began to receive weird phone calls and messages from numbers she did not know. At first, she responded with heavy breathing or immediate hang-ups. Then they started leaving more weird voicemails, labeling her stuck up and cold for turning down a better option. Some of the messages included exact data about her work schedule and what she wore that day, proving someone was watching her. Anna didn't realize it at first, but a couple voices reminded me of Peter's high school classmates. This gang of boys still goes out with him and basically follows his orders because his parents give him money to spend. When Anna blocked those numbers, they simply began phoning from new ones. Then Peter's pals began showing up at the hospital, appearing to be visitors but actually lingering around the pediatric wing where Anna works. They would look at her for hours, making loud comments that she could hear. Last week, one of them followed her to her car after she worked the night shift. She was so horrified that she contacted me crying from inside her car, afraid to drive home in case they were monitoring her. I had to come pick her up and drive her car back, while my friend followed us in his car to ensure we weren't being pursued. Anna has begun experiencing panic attacks before her shifts, and her coworkers have realized something is plainly wrong. Yesterday, I finally got enough evidence to approach Peter. I had voicemail recordings, messaging screenshots, and hospital security camera footage that showed his friend stalking Anna. I visited our parents' house where Peter still resides and showed him everything. He just sat there, smugly smiling as I spoke. Then he looked me directly in the eyes and stated he had no idea what I was talking about. But maybe if Anna wasn't such a spoiled brat, no one would feel the need to teach her a lesson. Something inside of me snapped when he said that, and I hit him in the face. Peter immediately began screaming as if I had tried to kill him, despite the fact that it was only a little nosebleed. Our parents rushed in, and of course, they lost it. At me, not him. They didn't even look at the evidence I tried to provide to them. My mother became enraged over her poor baby boy being attacked, while my father yelled that I had always been jealous of Peter and needed professional help for my anger issues. When I tried to explain the harassment, Mom said Anna was probably flirting with Peter at dinner and is now playing the victim because she was caught. Dad urged me to leave his house and not return until I'd apologized to Peter and gotten my head straight. I am writing from Anna's flat, where I have been staying since last night. She finally fell asleep in the other room after crying for hours, frightened of going to work tomorrow. Anna's supervisor has been understanding thus far, but she is concerned that if the problem escalates, she may lose her job. She enjoys working with children in pediatrics and should not be forced to give it up because of my insane brother. I really don't know what to do anymore. Every time I think Peter cannot go any lower, he proves me wrong. Our parents are absolutely encouraging his actions and have been gaslighting both me and Anna about what is happening. The police will not take action unless there is more direct evidence linking Peter to the harassment. Anna is terrified. Her job is in jeopardy, and my family treats us as if we are the problem. Has anyone ever dealt with something like this? How do I keep Anna safe while dealing with such a toxic family? Should I do more to capture everything that happens? Any advice would be highly appreciated. I'm at my wit's end. Update 1. First and foremost, I'd like to thank everyone who responded to my first post. Reading all of your answers helped me realize how serious the problem is. Anna and I attempted to follow a lot of the advice many of you gave about documenting everything and taking legal action. Unfortunately, things have become worse over the last 2 weeks, and I need to rant about it. We followed the instructions and went to the police. Anna and I spent hours gathering proof, including screenshots of all the threatening messages, voicemail recordings, and hospital security footage that showed Peter's buddies lurking. We also received written testimonies from 3 of Anna's co-workers who witnessed the stalking conduct. The officer we initially spoke with was concerned, particularly regarding workplace harassment, but things quickly became difficult. It comes out that Ryan, Peter's best buddy and one of the main perpetrators of the abuse, is the son of a local police sergeant. When we stated Ryan's name, the officer's tone completely altered. He began by stating that without concrete proof that Peter was coordinating everything, there was little they could do. He further indicated that Anna was misinterpreting friendly attention from people who were just hanging around the hospital for legitimate reasons. He even had the arrogance to wonder if Anna had somehow piqued their interest. We wanted to speak with another officer, preferably a female, but they refused. Finally, they stated they'd send a warning to everybody we could identify from the tape, but that was all they could do in the absence of specific evidence of actual threats. It felt like an absolute waste of time. My parents' reaction was far worse than I anticipated. The day after we went to the police, Peter arrived at their house with a black eye, claiming I had struck him again. I hadn't seen him since the night. I hit him 2 weeks before, but my parents quickly believed him. My mother called, sobbing about how I'd lost control and was trying to destroy Peter's life. She said going to the police demonstrated I was purposefully attempting to damage his future over a stupid misunderstanding. Then my father called. He was infuriated. He threatened to cut me off financially, which would have been problematic if I still relied on them. Fortunately, I have a steady career in software development and my apartment. He also threatened to fire me from the family real estate company, conveniently forgetting that I never worked there. That is Peter's job. It truly demonstrates that they don't regard me as my own person, but rather as an accessory to Peter's life. The true calamity occurred this past weekend. My mother repeatedly called and texted, saying they wanted to fix things as a family. She assured that Peter was sorry for everything and wanted to apologize to both me and Anna. She stated that they had discussed limits with him, and he was aware that his behavior was wrong. After discussing it with Anna, we decided to give them the opportunity to make things right. That was an enormous error. We went to my parents' house expecting a family dinner to reconcile things. I sensed there was something odd from the moment we went in. The house was full with my parents, Peter, our aunt and uncle, who usually support Peter, and, worst of all, Ryan, and two of the guys who had been pursuing Anna at work. My mom referred to it as a family intervention. For 2 hours, they all took turns criticizing Anna's character, while Peter sat there looking smug. My mother delivered a lengthy lecture about Anna's obvious jealousy of Peter's attractiveness and success. What success? And how she had been flirting with him during dinner. She claimed Anna made up the harassment because she felt sorry about leading Peter on, and was now attempting to cover her tracks. Anna, according to my aunt, was probably used to having attention from males at work and mistook nice conduct for stalking out of guilt. Peter played his job brilliantly, appearing sad and perplexed as to why Anna would fabricate such nasty lies about him. He kept stating how happy he was to finally have a sister-in-law, and how saddened he was that she was attempting to turn everyone against him. Ryan and his friends backed him up, claiming they had simply come to the hospital to see Ryan's ailing grandmother, who supposedly transfers between floors and apartments every day. The toughest thing was when they began questioning Anna's mental stability. They mentioned that she sometimes works night shifts, which suggested that a lack of sleep was contributing to her paranoia. They discussed how stressful working with sick children must be, as if she was putting her professional stress into harmless interactions with Peter and his pals. My mother even had the audacity to suggest a therapist who may help Anna work through her tendency to create drama. Anna originally attempted to defend herself by politely discussing the harassment and even giving them the messages and voicemails again. But they kept talking over her, dismissing her facts as misunderstandings, or hinting that she had caused everything. When Ryan began outlining in detail what Anna had worn on specific days at work, demonstrating he had been monitoring her, my parents assumed Anna was attempting to attract attention. Things grew terrible when they invited Ryan and his pals to join us for dessert, claiming they wanted to demonstrate what good young men they truly were. Anna was having problems breathing and had to leave the room. When I attempted to follow her, my mother grabbed my elbow and told me it was time to choose between my real family and a clearly unstable girl who's just trying to cause problems. Anna is who I choose. We left quickly, and I haven't spoken to my family since that night. Peter's buddies have escalated their harassment, spreading reports at Anna's workplace that she is mentally unstable and has a history of false claims. Her supervisor summoned her to a meeting yesterday to raise worries about drama at work. While he appeared empathetic, he warned her that the disruptions were beginning to damage her job performance and that she considered transferring to a different department or hospital. We've engaged an attorney to help us obtain a restraining order, but the procedure is sluggish. Anna has been looking for jobs at other hospitals, and one of her old co-workers has offered to help her find work at a hospital, some 300 miles away. I hate that we're being forced to take such harsh actions, but I can't face watching Anna live in constant worry and tension. She now sobs before every shift and has lost weight because she is too anxious to eat properly. I really don't know what to do anymore. Every attempt to approach this sensibly has failed. My family is absolutely insane. The cops are ineffective, and it appears that Peter is winning. How can you fight back when people want to believe the worst about you and the best about your abuser? Update 2. I wish I had better news, but everything fell apart following what happened at my cousin Chloe's wedding last weekend. I've been trying to comprehend everything for the last few days before posting this update. What was supposed to be a happy family celebration turned into a nightmare that left Peter in handcuffs and our family irrevocably shattered. To begin, Chloe has always been the only member of the family, aside from my grandfather, who recognized Peter's deception. When we were youngsters, Mom caught Peter abusing her cat and informed everyone, but my parents convinced us she was lying for attention. She never forgot, and she has been completely supportive of me throughout Anna's condition. She even drafted a thorough statement for our attorney explaining Peter's troubling background. When Chloe sent her wedding invites, Anna and I were hesitant to go. But Chloe called us directly and said she only invited Peter because her parents insisted, and she had hired extra security just to keep an eye on him. She also sat us at a table with her husband's family, far from my parents and Peter. We assumed that with all of the witnesses and security present, Peter wouldn't do something stupid. We were mistaken. The ceremony went well, owing in large part to Peter's duties as a groomsman. Noah, Chloe's husband, is our cousin on the other side of the family and was unaware of any of the drama. Everything appeared to be in order at first glance. Peter sat at the family table with our parents while we were across the room with Chloe's in-laws. Anna began to relax and enjoy herself for the first time in weeks. Anna used the restroom around 9 p.m. She had been gone for approximately 10 minutes when I saw Peter wasn't at his table anymore. Something seemed strange, so I went to check on her. Anna screamed as I was about to enter the restroom. I began running when Noah and his brother turned the bend in front of me. They discovered Peter pushing Anna against the hallway wall outside the lavatory, attempting to force himself on her while she struggled. He had one hand over her mouth and the other forcefully grabbing her arm, leaving bruises. Just as I arrived, Noah and his brother had dragged Peter off of her. Anna shook and cried. Her dress was torn at the shoulder, and there were already visible bruises on her arm. Peter was clearly intoxicated and began ranting that Anna had been teasing him all night. She had literally not gone near him, and that she had followed him into the hallway. She arrived first. Noah's brother, a police officer from another city, quickly called the local police, and Noah assisted Anna into a private room where Chloe and her mother attempted to calm her down. This is where things went even worse, if that's possible. When the cops arrived, my parents attempted to stop them from detaining Peter. My mother cried that it was all a misunderstanding, that Anna had plainly misled Peter, and that they shouldn't ruin his life for one minor drunken mistake. My father physically attempted to stop the officers from handcuffing Peter, urging that they treat this as a family matter. Peter went between crying about how Anna seduced him and threatening everyone, claiming that none of us understood what he was capable of. He appeared absolutely unhinged. As they eventually got him into the police car, he started yelling that Anna was a whore who had been asking for it since the day they met. Some guests captured the entire event on their phones. The aftermath was catastrophic. My parents got into a frenzy, phoning everyone in the family to provide their account of the events. They claimed Anna took Peter into a quiet spot, came on to him, and shouted assault when he rebuffed her. They claimed she planned the entire incident to exact revenge on Peter for revealing her lies about the harassment. They even claimed that Noah and his brother hit Peter before the cops arrived, which they did not, and that Anna hurt herself. The one bright spot is that the wedding video shows Peter following Anna into the restroom hallway. With her bruises, many witnesses, and video proof of Peter's breakdown during the arrest, our lawyer believes we have a solid case. Several relatives who attended the wedding have come forward to testify about Peter's actions throughout the night, including inappropriate remarks he made about Anna and how he pursued her during the reception. My parents have threatened to disown me unless Anna drops the claims. They've been phoning and messaging non-stop, alternately apologizing for tearing the family apart and threatening to cut me out of the inheritance. They even showed up at my apartment yesterday, generating a disturbance that prompted my neighbors to contact the police. My mother screamed over how I was putting her sweet boy in jail, while my father swore to make sure I never worked in this state again. Anna and I reached a decision. She accepted a job offer at a hospital 300 miles away, and I plan to work remotely for my firm. We're moving at the end of next month. Many people may believe we are fleeing, but we simply need to escape the toxicity and start over somewhere new. Chloe understands and has agreed to keep us up to date on any family developments. The most difficult part of all of this is knowing that my family will never accept Peter needs help. Even after seeing him abuse someone at a wedding in front of witnesses, they continue to defend him and blame the victim. I've often wondered what might have happened if someone had intervened when we were kids, but we'll never know. Right now, I just need to concentrate on safeguarding Anna and creating our new life together, away from Peter and my parents' enabling behavior. Update 3. I hadn't planned to submit any more updates, but something happened yesterday that I feel compelled to tell. After 4 years of fortunate silence from my family, I received a frantic phone call from my mother, leaving me feeling both vindicated and heartbroken. First, a little update on Anna and myself. We married 2 years ago in a short ceremony attended by Chloe's family and Anna's relatives. We purchased a home in our new location, and Anna is now the head pediatric nurse at her hospital. I am still working remotely for the same company, but I was promoted to senior developer last year. We were expecting our first kid, a baby girl, in 3 months. Life has been serene and cheerful, which makes what I'm about to say much more frightening. Yesterday afternoon, I was in a conference when my phone started ringing incessantly with calls from my mother. I normally disregard strange numbers because my family has a tendency of purchasing new phones to reach us, but this time she left a message that sounded truly frantic. When I called back, she was sobbing so hard that I could not hear her. Peter married a woman named Olivia last year. We were all unaware of it because we hadn't spoken to that side of the family since the wedding. Apparently, Peter met Olivia in church, and their families swiftly planned their marriage. My mother kept going on about how wonderful everything was, how Peter had finally found a good Christian woman who understood him, and how they were all so happy until last week. Olivia's coworker called the police last Thursday after she failed to show up for work for 3 days. Officers discovered Olivia seriously injured during a wellness check. She had 2 broken ribs, a shattered wrist, and several bruises across her body. But here's what really stunned me. When the police looked into it further, they discovered that my father had been assisting Peter in concealing the abuse for months. Olivia eventually broke down and told the police everything. Peter began striking her just 2 months after they married. Every time she threatened to leave or tell someone, my father would intervene, using his real estate contacts to push Olivia's family about their mortgage or threatening to fire her from a job at one of his friends' companies. He even persuaded Olivia's parents that she was mentally disturbed while fabricating allegations about Peter, employing the same tactics they employed against Anna. The final event occurred when Olivia was promoted at work, which would have provided her financial independence. Peter lost control and thrashed her so brutally that she couldn't enter. When she called my father for assistance, he advised her to ice it and remember her wedding vows. That's when her coworker stepped in and called the police. Peter and my father were both arrested, one for domestic abuse and the other for witness intimidation and conspiracy. My mother urged me to return and help fix things. She kept stating, the family needs to stick together during a crisis, that Peter and Dad needed my help, and that Olivia was obviously exaggerating everything, just like Anna did. I lost it. I informed her how I felt about her enabling Peter's actions throughout his childhood. I reminded her of what they did to Anna and how they decided to support Peter despite witnessing him assault her at Chloe's wedding. I questioned whether she had ever considered that, if they had helped Peter when he was younger or held him accountable for his behavior, Olivia might not be in the hospital right now. My mother burst into tears, admitting that they should have acted sooner. She acknowledged that she and Dad had always known Peter had problems, but they believed they were protecting him by keeping everything hidden. Too little. Too late. I hung up and blocked her new number. Chloe called me later to confirm some information she'd received from extended family. Olivia's parents are distraught and regret not believing her sooner. They totally support her in bringing accusations against both Peter and my father. Police are also looking into potential additional victims, since numerous of Peter's ex-girlfriends have come forward with similar allegations of abuse and stalking. Anna proposed that we contact Olivia through Chloe and offer her assistance if she requires it, which we will most likely do. Anna mentioned how fortunate she was to have assistance when coping with Peter, and Olivia may need someone who understands what she's going through. Some may believe I'm being cold toward my parents, but I've learned that encouraging toxic behavior simply creates more victims. My family had numerous opportunities to change, but they decided not to. Now they can deal with the consequences of their decisions without my assistance. My goal now is to defend my own family, my wife, our unborn daughter, and the quiet life we've created away from their toxicity. Update 4. Many people have messaged me asking for updates on the situation with Peter, my father, and Olivia. So this is what has happened in the last 6 months. First, some wonderful news from our end. 3 months ago, Anna and I welcomed our daughter Isla. She's completely healthy and stunningly lovely. Parenthood has been incredible, and it is only confirmed that breaking connections with my problematic family was the correct decision. Chloe and her husband came to see Isla last month, and seeing them with her only confirmed what true family love is like. Now for an update on Peter's and my father's cases. Chloe has been keeping us updated because she still maintains contact with some distant relatives. Peter agreed to a plea deal last month. He will serve an 8-year jail sentence for serious domestic abuse, with the possibility of parole after 5 years. My father's case is still ongoing, although his attorney is apparently attempting to work out a settlement. His real estate license has been suspended pending an inquiry, and most of his business partners have parted ways with him. My mother's progress is the most startling. After our previous phone chat, she began therapy. According to Chloe, she has moved out of the family home and filed for divorce from my father last week. She sent me a 12-page letter apologizing for everything, enabling Peter his entire life, failing to protect me as a child, and, most importantly, how they treated Anna. She revealed that she and my father had essentially produced the monster Peter by never holding him accountable. I have not responded to your mail. Part of me respects that she is finally confronting the truth, but it is too little. Too late. Where was this understanding when Peter was torturing animals as a kid, or while he was stalking Anna, or when they witnessed him assaulting her during Chloe's wedding? Anna and I are still talking about allowing her to have supervised contact with Isla, but that will be years away, if it ever happens. Olivia came out to us via Chloe. She is doing better. She lives with her sister in another state and is having extensive therapy. She has filed for divorce and is completely cooperating with prosecutors. According to Chloe, numerous other women have come forward with claims that Peter mistreated them in the past, including 2 from his church. The police are looking into those situations as well. Olivia's parents have been wonderfully supportive once the truth was revealed. They publicly apologized to her for not believing her sooner and severed all connections with my parents. They're even collaborating with domestic violence organizations to help other families identify indicators of abuse and manipulation. Our extended family is fundamentally divided into 2 factions. The majority of our younger cousins and relatives have supported us and Olivia, while the older generation continues to make excuses for Peter and my dad. Chloe's mother, my aunt, has formed a family therapy group for relatives who want to understand how things got so bad and how to make things better for future generations. Anna and I are focused on our kid and our lives here. Anna went back to work part-time last week and was promoted to director of pediatric nursing. I'm still working remotely, but I'm considering starting my own software consulting firm. We've created a fantastic community here, complete with amazing friends and chosen family. Sometimes I consider contacting my mother or responding to her letter. But then I look at Isla and think about how my parents would expect me to let Peter near her if we were still in contact, claiming he deserves another chance. That thought alone reminds me that we made the right decision by staying away. The pattern of cruelty and enabling in my family ends with me. Isla will grow up in an environment that values healthy relationships and respects limits. Cutting off toxic family members is sometimes the best thing you can do for your child, no matter how painful it is. Thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more shocking real-life stories happening around you.